Hey, hi everyone. So, just an intro. I recorded this whole video in like 40 minutes, around 40 minutes. So, I've split them into three parts. And in the second part, I would be talking about the difference between physical and emulator devices and which one I prefer and why. So, that would be a 10-12 minutes segment. Then I would switch on to like the next part where I would talk about Lineage OS and its installations and stuff. And then the last part, I would be talking about I would be showing a live demo of Flipkart app as to how we would be using that to sniff traffic. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. And this is the second part of SSL unpinning, sniffing Android 10 HTTPS traffic. So if you haven't watched the first part, please go and watch that because a lot of context is continued from there. And the main idea of this short series is to have a device ready for you so that you could sniff any app's HTTPS traffic, because that's the main issue people face when testing with Android devices. Yeah, this is not working, or maybe this is not working, the HTTPS traffic is not coming up, connections are getting dropped. These are some of the very common issues. Other issues could be root detection or emulator detection if you're using an emulator such as genymotion or Android AVD. So these are some of the common issues. The most common is obviously this HTTPS traffic sniffing. So I'm covering that one. So let's start with the second part. Also, if you haven't yet joined on the Telegram channel, I post a few links some of the days. So those are related to cybersecurity news or something similar to that, bug bounties and stuff. So if you haven't followed it yet, make sure you go and subscribe that channel, the Telegram channel. I have the links in the description, or there would be a QR code where you could get links of all my channels like Discord and Telegram. So with that said, let's start. First question comes as physical versus emulator. If you don't know what an emulator is, so emulators are basically softwares which act as an Android device. So you can run your app on that, you can play games if you are running a game on that. So those are basically softwares which create or emulate a mobile device. Physical devices like the one I have currently this. So this is a physical device and this is my testing device. Recently I got this one, this is my brother's old device, so I don't purchase a device just for testing. Any device that I have at my disposal, I try to use that. Why let it waste, right? So physical versus emulator, why I prefer physical devices. So let's see this. So this is Android's mobile testing guide, Android testing guide. So the link is here. You could so you could scan this QR code as well, or I would add the link in the descriptions as well. So physical versus emulator. So the first thing, ability to restore. So this is a side-by-side comparison of on the basis of different features. So the very first feature is ability to restore. So ability to restore means that if the device is bricked, so bricking basically means that it's a bit useless. You cannot turn on the device, you cannot do anything with the device. So there are two kinds of bricks in physical devices. There's this soft brick and hard brick. Hard bricks are very rare these days. It used to happen earlier when people used to root the device and install some unstable ROMs, but these days it's quite stable. It's not a very common place these days to see hard bricks. Whereas for emulator, you can easily restore it, or rather you could just recreate it from snapshots, or if you want, you could just discard the ROM, discard the emulator and create a new one, because it's just a software. It's just like a manifestation of the software. There is nothing actually created. There is no physical thing allocated to it. Then comes as resetting. So physical devices can be reset to their factory settings. For emulators, you could just delete it and recreate a new one. Snapshots, so it's not possible in physical devices, whereas it's supported and it's great for malware enthusiasts. So what snapshot means is, suppose you are a malware analyst, you get an APK to test for malware activities into that. So what you do is you create an emulator, you take the snapshot of the emulator before installing the app. You install this malware app, and then you take another snapshot. So now you see, you compare between these two snapshots and you see what are the different changes that happened between these two, and on the basis of that you determine, okay, what are the different things or places that the malware has gone and attached to itself. So that's quite possible in emulators. It's not possible on physical devices as of yet. Speed. So speed is one of the reasons why I prefer a physical device. So it's way convenient and way fast to use a physical device. Even if you have like the whole RAM, like 16 GB or 24 GB RAM on your let's say on a laptop, still emulators softwares are not that efficient that they would run similar to what a 8 GB RAM on a mobile phone would look like. So even though this is, I think it's a 4 GB RAM itself, it's not even 8 GB, and these are pretty cheap these days. So coming to the cost factor, as I already told, I don't buy devices just to test them. I just have some old devices, and these days people change mobile phones quite frequently, like every 2-3 years they at least change it, and it's not very costly. That's why I think people change that. So these devices are usually discarded and kept at home, so I prefer using those instead of buying out a new one. Whereas emulators are free because obviously it's just free and commercial software. So genymotion is a free alternative, and it's definitely way better than any other alternatives that I have seen. Ease of rooting, it depends on the device. We would be coming on to that in the second part, setting up your physical device. So in emulators, it's typically rooted by default. So if you have this, let's say genymotion if you're using genymotion, so if you create a virtual device using genymotion, it would by default be rooted. So you don't have to go with the hassle of rooting and such. We would come to that why we need root, and later on we'll talk about that as well. Ease of emulator detection in physical devices, it's hard, like the apps. So why this is being talked about is, so some apps, they try to detect whether you are using an emulator or whether you have a rooted device. So these are some of the common checks that they do. And if they find that it's running in an emulator or it's running as on a rooted device, they just stop themselves from running. Like for an example, if you use Bheem app, so Bheem is a UPI app for transferring money. It's quite popular in India. So if you are using Bheem app and you are running it on a rooted device, it's a very high chance that it would detect the root and it would show a pop-up. It's not allowed to run on root devices. So yeah, and like we were talking about emulator, so it won't also run on emulator, I guess, because emulators are by default mostly rooted. So ease of emulator detection. So if you are using an emulator like genymotion, so it's very high chance that there would be some artifact, some file or some property that would help these apps to detect that it's running in a emulator. Let's say for example, let's say the app wants to try to do a Bluetooth connection. So if the emulator is not doing it in a proper manner, the app would easily detect that that Bluetooth is lacking, because obviously it's a software device, so it might detect that Bluetooth is not there, and any of the device, any mobile phone would definitely have a Bluetooth, right? So it would detect using that. Ease of root detection, it's again the second factor is this also, that I use a physical device. That if you are using a physical device, you could install Magisk Hide, and then it's very high chance that you won't get detected if you have a rooted phone. Whereas on emulator, there would definitely be one file or one thing or one process, something there would be that would give a hint to the app that it's a rooted phone, and then like the whole game goes bust, right? So that's these, like the main primary reason I use a physical device is because of the speed, ease of root detection, and ease of emulator detection. So because I'm not running an emulator, so that would automatically get passed off for my physical device. So the only thing that I need to take care about is the root detection, which Magisk Hide does quite efficiently. Hardware interaction, it's fine. Like if you are testing an app which needs NFC and other such things, so that would be required. On a physical device it would be available, whereas on a emulator you won't get those things. GPS you could easily get. GPS spoofing can be done by emulators as well. They provide that. You could change the coordinates and you could send GPS location thing. but NFC and Bluetooth I don't suppose those are available on Emulator as of now. API level support. So here is what Emulator beats a physical device. So in Emulator you could have any API level like Android 6, Android 7, Android 8. You could have all these devices on your laptop itself without actually purchasing different devices for testing different Android versions. So let's take an example. Say you have this particular APK that you want to test for Android 6, Android 7, Android 8, Android 9. So for that, if you are using it a physical device, either you would have to reinstall different Android versions, which is not at all feasible, or else you would have to have 4 devices with all these 4 variants of flavors of Android available. In the case of an emulator, you could have all these 4 emulators free of cost on your laptop itself. So you just click on one of these devices and that particular Android version device would automatically pop up. You could drag and drop the APK and that would get installed onto that. I would show the genymotion screen, that would help you understand better. Native library support. So actual physical devices have native library support. So like ARM devices, mostly these are ARM devices. So if let's say the app requires a particular ARM library which is embedded into it, so if it requires that, it would only run on a physical device. You would have a hard time running it on an emulator. Now let's say malware danger. So it's quite likely that, okay, but let's talk about this as well. So on an emulator, you don't have to worry about malware issues because you just discard or delete the particular Android AVD and you are good to go with that. Whereas on a physical device, you should not store any sensitive data on that, because if you have a malware that's running or if you're testing for a malware infested APK, so you should always be cautious not to use that for any personal thing. It's important that you have the Google Play services, and for that you need to log in through your Google account. So make sure you have a test account for that and not use your personal account on a device which you are testing for malwares. So that sums up physical versus emulator, and I already talked about why I prefer physical devices. Because of the speed, because of ease of rooting, and because of ease of emulator detection. So you would definitely pass all the time because you're not using an emulator rather a physical device. Yeah, this is the end of this part. Stay tuned for the next part. While you are seeing it, I might have edited that also. So I'll be posting it in a few days. So stay tuned. Have a nice day.